Dear friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video lesson, let me discuss Floyd Dell's Sweet and 20. First, let me introduce the author. Floyd Dell lived from 1887 to 1969. He is an American author, playwright, and critic. He is associated with the Greenwich Village Bohemian movement. His works most often concentrates on the themes of love, modernity, and social critique. So he is very fluent in criticizing the society as well as, and he is pointing out the falsities of the behaviors of the people and the policies of the government. So mostly his works reflect his progressive views on relationship and societal norms. So mostly he breaks the rules of the society and he establishes himself as a very good writer. As far as this work is concerned, Sweet and 20. It was first produced in 1918 and the setting was the cherry orchard of a country estate. So mostly it is American. So in front of the cherry orchard it takes place. When the play was first produced, so the setting behind the that is seen, so there cloth and with that leaves of cherry was placed. Then the themes of Sweet and 20, the love, marriage, modernity, and other things are prevalent, especially how the youngsters of America of that time perceive marriage and their life. How so many false ideas are prevalent in and around marriage. So, that has been beautifully portrayed by Floyd in this book. So, if you take the characters, so it is a one act play. Even we cannot call it as one act play, one scene play. That's how we have to call it. So there are only four characters. The young man, so later in the play it is revealed his name is George. And another character, the young woman Helen. So we can call these two persons as hero and heroines or protagonist. Besides these two, one agent comes. Actually, he is projected as the person who is arranging for the meeting between them. So he is projected the real estate agents. Later, there is a small surprise about this character. So we'll discuss that. Then finally, one minor role is played by the god. So when this play was performed on the stage, so it provoked a lot of humor, especially it was a social commentary. So how the institution of marriage is misunderstood and not utilized properly by the society. So what is the message of Floyd this through this work, that also will be discussed at the end. Now let's enter into the analysis of the play. So what is the plot? So when the play opens, a woman with a parasol sits on the stone bench. She comes in and she finds near a stone bench. So behind her, the cherry orchard is there. So nearby the cherry orchard, so there the big house is there. The woman has come there to purchase that house. So she is on a visit. Parasol means a umbrella, a big umbrella. So when she is waiting there, so a man also comes. So there is a small misunderstanding. So the man thinks that he has disturbed the privacy of that woman, whereas the woman also thinks in the same way. So initially they start the conversation and they have the intention of buying the house. So now they strike the conversation and he says that, okay, why are you waiting here like this? And he says that, sorry, I have disturbed you like that. And in the course of the conversation, they reveal that both of them have come to the same purpose. So what is that purpose? The purpose of purchasing the big house over there. Then when they are just initially they are attracted by each other. So the initial attraction, out of which they are kissing also. So by the time when the conversation is going on, a bee is moving here and there, and that girl, that woman is literally threatened by that. So he calls that bee as rascal, a potential information to be noted. A bee is called as a rascal, and this incident shows that that man, the young man, shows concern towards the new lady. So they have never met earlier so far. They do not know each other. Anyhow, so he shows some concern towards that girl. So it shows his good nature probably. Then the conversation reveals that already she was there, and he also happened to go there in the last 30 minutes, right? So at that time she says that she was worried by the family portraits there, and here then because the family portraits show that grimy faces, and she's not interested in that. Then the conversation shifts to furnaces. So furnaces, of course, in Western context, most of the houses have furnaces to warm themselves. So they are talking about that, and he says that man says that so she's also Maria is also interested in that. So who is Maria? We'll discuss that later. And at one point, he feels that the house is too big to live. At the same time, she feels that, and she wants a house that has some secret rooms. So at that time, whenever there is the rainy day in which when they do not have anything to work, at that time she wants to explore those things. So she likes the mysterious nature of that house. So from this we understand, so that man is very practical. So whereas that woman is a little bit adventurous. So this polarizes their personality. Then suddenly they remember that both of them had met earlier in the previous day. So in the real estate agent's office. So suddenly they just reveal, okay, yes, of course, yesterday I met you, like that. So at that time only they kiss. So from the first few minutes of their relationship, it is understood that they develop a kind of liking towards each other. So far, so good regarding their relationship. Then, two important things are revealed. So, first, the conversation reveals that the story of the house. So, what is the story of the house? Before, see, actually, it is a finished house. Already, some people lived over there, and they have come there to see. So, individually, they came. Then, the story of the house it talks about two unhappy marriages. Especially long back, the story goes like that. The owner of this house, so when he was young, he fell in love with a lady. So at that time, she also fell in love, but so without revealing the love for each other, they grew. And what the man planned was, first he started constructing the house, and he thought that, so I can present this house as a gift to that lady when he proposes. But the girl also, so though she also liked him, so at that time she did not have the courage to, or she thought that, okay, he did not love me, that's why he did not propose like that. So after thinking like that, so he was busy in constructing the house. So for her, she was in a position to marry. So she happened to marry another person. So finally, when he finishes the house, and with all the enthusiasm and love-filled heart, when he goes there to see her, and he comes to know that she is already married. So he is dejected, and he doesn't want to disturb her afterwards. So he locks himself inside the room for 1 or 2 years. So afterwards, he comes out and he gets married. So when he gets married, so after the marriage with the wife, he lives there for nearly 10 years, and both marriages are unhappy. So first the marriage, so the people loved both of them, the owner and the new wife, and the lady love and the other person. So they live very badly. And after this man, so in the house he lives with the wife, so she dies. So after that, he plans to go abroad. and he wants to sell the house. Interestingly, that house was purchased by the lady love's husband. I hope you understand the story here. So they got separated without proposing to the love, and they got married to two different persons. When the lover here, the house owner, sells the house, so he happens to sell this house to the husband of his former lady love. So afterwards, these two people, the couple, live there unhappily. So they quarrel. So in this part, Floyd. So Floyd conveys how marriages can be very unhappy. So how the youngsters of America are not used to the successful marriage life. That has been pointed out in this part. So it is the so slowly opinion on marriage has been built on this. Now, when this unhappy things are going on, now the man says, see, better than this, there is another story, how the orchard came into existence. So first, once there was orchard only. So when the man who purchased this land, for the first time, at that time, he happened to come for a date with his girlfriend. So at that time, they were very hungry. They happened to stop in front of the orchard, and then there was one old lady. Then they both the couple asked for, please give something, so we are very hungry. So at that time the old lady came out and she gave a glass of milk and asked them to eat as many cherries as possible. So the man here who came with the lover, so in his hat he got all the cherries and both of them ate the cherry fruits. So at that time, during the process of their conversation and eating the cherry, they fell in love. Afterwards only, the man purchased the orchard. So it was a successful story. So far we have seen three different stories within this original story. What is the status of the present status of the orchard? So orchard along with a house is to be sold. That is to be seen by these two. And at that time now, when the man and woman who are sitting on the stone bench, when they are talking like this, the man says, I hear the voice of somebody like that. So he feels that this cherry orchard is haunted by someone. Then she interestingly asks, what do you hear? Then he says, this is the line which he states, the something what he hears, so that voice says, I was a coward, you must be bold. I was silent, you must speak out. So these words are getting repeated in his ears. So the meaning is, and he feels that, okay, it conveys that, okay, if you are in love with that girl, you please express it openly. So that is the point conveyed by that words through his, it is a kind of spirit, something is talking to him. Then he becomes emboldened. So right, okay, now I feel that I have the love, and I will express my love like that. So now the rest of the conversation is about love, marriage, and this and that. Actually, both of them, though they are attracted towards each other, they do not possess good opinion about love and marriage. So the next few minutes we'll talk about the textual lines presented, how they talk about love. So he says like this: love is a mystery. I only know that I was destined to love you. So he says that, okay, love is a mystery, but I am born to love you. Fine. So because you have changed the world for me. So he says, in that short span of time, you have changed my life. So I feel happy for you. It is as though I had been groping about in the dark and then sunrise. So you are the sunrise. So he becomes very poetic. So dear lady, so after you entered in my life, that is before a few minutes, so I see the sunshine in my dark life, and my knees are weak. So he is almost proposing to that lady. So my knees are very weak. I know now why men used to fall on their knees when they told a girl they loved her. It was because they couldn't stand up, and there is a feeling in my feet though I were walking on Yeah. So the man wants to propose, but he's contained by the feeling that he couldn't do that. So he butterflies in his stomach. He wants to propose, but he couldn't. So he generalizes it. That's the so he finds out the reason why men are on their knees while proposing, because they are unable to stand because of the nervousness and tension out of love. That is the reason the men fall at they are on their knee and they just propose like that. So very beautiful, humorous passage from Floyd Dell. Then afterwards, the misunderstanding comes. How that man believed. So the young man believed that the lady is already married, and that lady believed that man is already married, because the previous night was the previous day when they met in the house of in the office of the real estate person, so both of them were accompanied by them. He was accompanied by his aunt Maria, and she was accompanied by her uncle. So both of them misunderstood that they were married to each other already. That is the see. And here another the cultural point we have to note. So though both of them misunderstood the other one was married already, they were very eager to fall in love with the new person, though they knew that the other person is married. This also shows the false relationship during the during 1920s 10s in America. So false and fragile marital relationship has been pointed out here. Now, the further then the confusion is revealed. No, no. She says that she is my uncle. He is my uncle. He says that she is my aunt Maria, like that. Then they become normal. Now, in that course, they say marriage is a serious matter. Yes, of course, marriage is a serious matter. Then they talk about socialism. And socialism means, so it is an idea, political idea and societal idea in which everything is common and equal. So people will lead a life, so sharing their property and money. So there is a, so they are talking about that, and he declares that he is a socialist. I want the society to be neutral. I want equal society, like that. So they are in the process of marriage talk. He declares himself about that. Then she says that I love dancing. So especially she is talking about the tango dance, that is the Afro-American dance. So that is that demands a lot of energy. He says that I'm not into that. I don't want to learn also. So two opposite ideas for them. So she is more interested in dancing and related activities, whereas he is a socialist, so he is into business. So then they are discussing the possibility of marriage. So it goes like this. If we were married, we might be happy for a month of happiness and then wretchedness. This shows the practical nature of both of them. So they are aware. So if you are married for 1 month, we may be happy due to the physical intimacy. Afterwards, a month of happiness, then there will be only wretchedness. So both of them step into other person's shoes and warn each other. So it is better we do not marry. Then he says that okay, that's right, because I am going for Europe, and you try to forget me. So both of them, they happen to see, fell in love. They propose to each other, then realize that marriage will not work out between them. So both of them agree to forget each other. Especially he says that I am going for a tour to Europe, and then you can try to forget me. So when the conversation is going on, so the real estate agent intrudes. So the third character intrudes. Then he reveals in the course of the time, and the meeting between the both of them was arranged by the other relatives. That is Mr. Egerton. So Egerton, who is Egerton? Egerton is the uncle of that lady, and Miss Brooke is the aunt of that man. So these two, the previous day, they happened to go to that real estate agent's office. There they decide, okay, first they wanted to make them meet in private so that they will fall in love, and then later they can get married. So they are the uncle, Mr. Egerton and Miss Brooke, they did this matchmaking process. They ensured that these two persons meet each other in private and talk to each other. They believe because if they talk in private, they will like each other, they will fall in love, and they will get married. So this has been revealed by the real estate agent. Actually, they are a little bit surprised. So now in the rest of the play, the real estate agent gives some different opinions about marriage. What is marriage? When it will work? Whether their marriage will work? All these ideas are presented here. The agent says like this: a taste for dancing and a taste for municipal ownership stand at the two ends of the earth away from each other. They represent two different ways of taking life. So he has understood in the short span of time. So the man and woman here, they do not have same opinion, they have opposite opinions. Probably the opposite poles pull each other. And if two people who live in the same house can't agree on those two things, they would disagree on 100 things that came up every day. And what is the use of two different kinds of beings to try to live together? He asked a very sensible question. If you do not like the things each other, if you do not like each other, what is the point in living together in the same place? He says that it doesn't work, and no matter how much love there is between them. So whether you love you or not, if you do not have same opinion, definitely this marriage will not work. So that is the opinion of the agent. Then both of them agree with the agent and say, you please help us something in one way. So what is that here help, he asked. They say, okay, you inform our relatives that we do not like each other, so they will not help us. So they request him to stop their marriage. Then the agent says, though he is more than middle age, he says that I am a bachelor, so I have done so many things like this, so I will help you not to get married. So it is the interesting part of the play. So the real estate agent promises the man and woman, so that is George and the other one Helen. So okay, I will help you not to get married. The agent continues about marriage, my young friends, is an incautious arrangement devised by the devil himself. So the next blow. Earlier he said it was municipal ownership, and now he says that the marriage is arranged by devil himself. For what? For driving all the love out of the hearts of lovers. So when people fall in love, and they have lot of love, cherish lot of love for each other at their heart. But to drive that love away from people, so devil invented the institution of marriage. Then they start out as much in love with each other as you two are today, and they end by being as sick of the sight of each other as you two will be 5 years hence. He says that today you are in love, but if you get married, I am sure in 5 years you don't want to see each other, because it was devil's own trap. So beautiful argument by the agent. So marriage is invented by devil himself. If you get married, you will hate each other, you will not you will not want to meet each other, see each other after 5 years, because marriage is devil's own trap. It is not out of love that is the trouble with marriage, it is marriage itself, that is the nature of marriage. And when I say marriage, I don't mean promising to love, honor, and obey for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, till death do you part. Actually, this particular part comes from Bible. So during the asking, during the marriage, in Christian marriages in the church, the priest asks, do you love him, do you obey him, do you honor him, all these things. So all these things are, see, the agent says these things will be done before the marriage, but after the marriage this will never work out. So this particular dialogue by the agent, it is funny, humorous, at the same time it shows the other side of the marriage, what may happen, or what could happen after the marriage, what could also happen after the marriage. So this is a reality presented by the agent that is prevalent in American society of his time. Then the agent says, so you'll go ahead and try it out. If you really want to marry, you try and find out what all the unhappy ones have found out before you. Because if you really want to test whether I say it right or not, you just go get married, and you will realize whatever I said was true. Then the agent says that marriage is like going for a picnic. So very beautiful metaphor he says. See, if you go for a picnic, he says like this: if you do not have too much burden, so to carry anything, your picnic will be happy. Like that, so if you can live together, but if marriage takes place, commitment will come. So commitment will kill your happiness. That's why he says that incompatible. So the marriage, so living together or enjoying life together, that is absolutely okay, but marriage will be incompatible, so that will not be okay for both of you, because marriage is the devil's institution, marriage is devil's own workshop. Then further, the agent says marriage is the nest building instinct. So very beautiful thing said. Marriage is the nest building instinct turned by the devil himself into an institution to hold the human soul in chains. So it is the strategy devised by the devil so that human souls will be in chains. So he goes to the example of birds. Why do birds in their nest agree? Because, so you can see the bird's nest. Bird's nest will be smaller than their size. So one or two birds, they find that cramped space as their living space. Like that, marriage is a narrow space in which people do not have equal space. Right? Why do birds in their nest agree to live there? Because if they don't, they will fall out. So they are together because so they have no other option. Like that, the agent says marriage is a nest so small that there is no room in it for disagreement. Now it may be all right for birds to agree, but human beings are not built that way. See, in a small nest, birds may adjust, but human beings will not adjust in a marriage. He says they disagree, and home becomes a little hell. So after marriage, home becomes little hell. Little hell, or else they agree, do at the expense of the soul's freedom. And if you are fools, you will try to live and lives in a love nest. So to conclude, that agent says, okay, everything is okay, but if you are really fools, you will try to enter the marriage, live in that cramped space where there is no freedom. So it can be you will imprison your soul, and when the devil will laugh. So whenever somebody, according to this agent, whenever somebody gets married, the devil will laugh, because marriage is the devil's institution, because marriage will imprison the souls of the people, marriage will chain the souls of the people. So the devil will laugh. So when the real estate agent talks negatively about this marriage, so these two people, they start believing it may be true. The real estate agent further gives a advice. What he says: if you are wise, you will build yourselves a little nest secretly in the woods. So it has the symbolic representation that he conveys that don't get married, but live secretly. So whenever you feel so in the woods, away from civilization, and you will run away together to the nest whenever you are in the mood. So what he is suggesting is, he suggests that a relationship away from the marriage institution, a nest so small that it will hold only two beings and one thought, the thought of love. So when you are small, see, if you become a married couple, so you will have commitments, you have to give birth to children, the society knows you, then there will be problem. So what he suggests is, You are two beings and one thought, the thought of love. And then you will come back refreshed to civilization where every soul is different from every other soul. You will love each other alone and forget each other and do your own work in peace. So the agent says, so whenever you need, so you please take rest and live secretly, then come back to the society for other things, then you will feel refreshed, you will have peace of mind. On the whole, the agent conveys that don't get married. If you get married, you will start hating each other and you will not lead a happy life. So if you want to live together outside the marriage, so that there won't be any commitment, there won't be any third person, so that your peace of mind cannot be disturbed. Then Helen says, he means we should occupy separate sides of the house and this and that. And finally, what happens, here Helen says, okay, that means even if we live in the same house, probably the same house if they purchase, we should live separately in the same house. Like that, in a mocking way, she conveys. Now, when they are talking about like this, suddenly the guard comes, the security. The security, the guard says that that man is a madman. So the real estate agent, he's the madman. He escaped from asylum and he is talking to different people like that. Now they are totally shocked. So both the male, that is George and Helen, are totally shocked because who was giving the advice about marriage and love? It was a madman who escaped from asylum. Then, when they were bewildered like that, shocked like this, the god who came to catch that agent, that madman, he gave something about, oh, what is his social relevance. He said that, what is the matter with him? He went crazy and he didn't reading the works of, he did reading the works of Bernard Shaw. How he became mad, by reading the works of Bernard Shaw. And if he wasn't in the insane asylum, he would be in jail. So either he has to be in jail or he has to be in asylum, but he is out. Then he is a bigamist. He happened to marry many and he married 14 women. This is to be noted. The madman who was in jail, who was talking ill about marriage, don't get married, don't love, all these things, he happened to marry 14 women. So the story does not end there. But see, if anybody makes a complaint against this man, he will go to jail. But what happened? No wife of that is none of the 14 wives of that madman are ready to say anything against him. To the worse, they say he was an ideal husband. So this they did. So everyone, all the 14 women whom the madman married earlier, they claim that so he was an ideal husband and otherwise he is perfectly harmless, the agent says. So this particular idea, this particular point to be understood well. So what is conveyed here? A man who is normal cannot be a good husband, probably. A man who is mad can be an ideal husband. So this points out the social reality of the marriage institution. So of course, if the husband and wife say, so we do not agree with each other, that is perfectly normal. Because a male is different, a female is different. Forgetting these differences, people come together. So biologically they are different, ideologically they are different. But forgetting these differences, they come together to agree to disagree, right? So when they realize both male and female are different, they may have their own interest, their own aspirations, their own ideals. When the couple realize that, the marriage life will be very smooth. That is the reason the writer says that. So a person, the madman was an ideal husband because he was mad. Then finally George says, yes, yes, and yet I feel there was something in what we say. What was saying? So the point is, George, okay, understands now what is the nature of marriage. So these two decide to get married. So that is the interesting part of the entire play. So what we would have expected, okay, talk about marriage and a madman marrying 14 women. We expected that probably they will not get married. But after listening to the lecture over there and the life of the madman, they decide, okay, right, so we will get married. The Helen says at that time, well, are we going to get married or not? We have got to decide that before we face my uncle and your aunt, George. Of course, we will get married. So he also consents. So you have your work and I mine. So, but he says that, okay, we'll get married. Then you do your work afterwards. I will do my work. Then Helen says, well, okay, if we get married, if we buy this house, then you can't have that sunny window for a study. I want it for the nursery. Actually, in their initial conversation, they were pointing out that one window space nearby the window, and he wanted to convert it into a library, a reading room, and she wanted to be as a resting place. Now she says that no, no, that I will take. So the first thing is taken away from him even before the marriage. So with that, the play ends. I hope you enjoyed the story, dear students. So the entire play of Floyd is talking about the marriage. The easiest part of this play is the only four characters: the man, the woman, they happen to be George and Helen, and the real estate agent, so who talked very sensibly about marriage, who makes the social commentary about the marriage, turns to be a madman who happened to marry 14 women. Then afterwards, we have a god who comes there to get that madman back for the asylum. So the entire play is a commentary on the Western marriage institution. So apart from that social commentary, one positive element is how marriage institution can survive. So when the couple realize that both male and female are different, both may have different interests, when they agree to respect each other's opinion and ideals and life style, everything, then the marriage will proceed without any problem. So in this play, the protagonists agree to get married, respecting each other's opinions and individuality. Thank you. All the best. I'll meet you in another video. Thank you.